Welcome to Sunday Test. Now, we've all heard about the magnificent paintings of Ajanta, right? But have you ever wondered what happened after that golden age? Did the tradition of mural painting just stop? Absolutely not. Today, we're going on a fascinating journey to explore exactly how these traditions evolved long after the Ajanta period. So, here's our roadmap for this journey. We're going to start in the Deccan with the Chalukyas of Badami, then travel south to meet the Pallavas, Pandyas, and the mighty Cholas. After that, we'll look at the big stylistic shifts that came with the Vijayanagara Empire, and we'll wrap things up with the vibrant murals of the Nayakas in Kerala. All right, let's dive right in. Our story begins in the 6th century CE, in a place called Badami. You see, right as the Vakatakas, the patrons of Ajanta, began to decline, the Chalukyas rose to power in the Deccan, and they were the ones who picked up the artistic torch and carried it forward. Okay, let's break down the key facts here. The dynasty we're talking about is the early Chalukyas, and the key patron was a king named Mangalesha. The most important site, that's cave number 4, also known as the Vishnu Cave, and we can date it pretty precisely thanks to an inscription from 578-579 CE. The main theme you'll sound in these paintings are scenes from palace life.
Now, this is what's so important to understand. The murals at Badami weren't some brand new invention. They were a direct, clear extension of the Ajanta style. This is the moment that style begins its journey into South India. It's the crucial link that connects these two great artistic traditions.
And the artistic style is just so similar. Take a look at those flowing, sinuous lines. The faces are so gracefully drawn, with those large, half-closed eyes and protruding lips. These are all hallmarks of the Ajanta school. It's amazing how the artists created a sense of volume and depth using just simple line treatments. All right, let's follow this tradition as it moves further south. We're leaving the Deccan and heading down into Tamil Nadu, where the Pallava and Pandya dynasties are about to give this art form whole new dimensions. The Pallava king Mahendravarman I was a huge patron of the arts. I mean, just look at his titles. Vichitrachita, which means the curious-minded one, and Chitrakarapuli, a tiger among artists. He commissioned temples in places like Panamalai, Mandagapattu, and Kanchipuram, all decorated with paintings. Later on, another king, Rajasimha, also patronized paintings in Kanchipuram. So, when the Pandyas came to power, they continued this patronage of the arts. Their most significant contribution is found in the Jaina caves at Sittanavasal, which became a major center for mural painting. The art at Sittanavasal has some really unique features. We see these incredible paintings of dancing celestial nymphs. The contours are drawn in a bold vermilion red against a lighter background, and the figures themselves have this amazing sense of rhythm and movement. And here's something to watch for. The eyes are slightly elongated. This is a feature that we're going to see again and again in later South Indian art. And that brings us to a period when South Indian art really reached its peak, the Grand Chola period. From the 9th to the 13th century, the Cholas were at the absolute zenith of their power, and you can see that same grandeur reflected in their art and architecture. Okay, let's just take a quick pause for a recap. If you look at this timeline, you can see our journey so far. We started in the 6th century with the early Chalukyas, moved to the 7th with the Pallavas, the 9th with the Pandyas, and now we've entered the long and glorious reign of the Cholas. When it comes to Chola art, the absolute best examples are found inside the magnificent Brihadeshwara temple at Thanjavur. The masterpieces of Chola painting were actually hidden away within the walls of this very temple. And these paintings brilliantly illustrate the glory of the Chola period. The patron was the great Rajaraja Chola himself. And here's a fascinating fact. These original Chola paintings were discovered preserved underneath a later layer of paintings from the 16th century Nayaka period. The themes are just as grand, mostly centered on Lord Shiva. We see depictions of Shiva in Kailash, Shiva as Nataraja, and even a portrait of the patron, Rajaraja. After the 13th century, with the decline of the Cholas, a new power rose to prominence, the Vijayanagara Empire. And with this new empire came a major stylistic shift in art. A whole new visual language started to emerge. Just look at this comparison. The difference is crystal clear. The sinuous, flowing lines of Chola art are replaced by lines that are still, yet fluid. The supple, rounded figures give way to flatter, two-dimensional figures, and here's one of the biggest changes. Faces are now shown in profile, but with large frontal eyes. The compositions also become more rectilinear, almost like the story is being told in separate compartments or panels. So, where can you see this new style for yourself? Well, the key sites include the Virupaksha Temple in Hampi, the incredible Shiva Temple at Lepakshi in Andhra Pradesh, and, for some of the earlier phase paintings, Tiruparankundram near Trichy. All right, let's move on to the final leg of our journey. The Vijayanagara style didn't just disappear, it evolved. It was adapted and transformed by regional powers, especially by the Nayakas and in the region of Kerala. The Nayaka rulers came after the Vijayanagara Empire. Their paintings, from the 17th and 18th centuries, were largely an extension of that Vijayanagara style. They kept the main features, but added their own minor regional modifications. But in Kerala, something really different developed. The artists there drew inspiration from local traditions like the dance form Kathakali and the ritualistic floor drawings known as Kalam Ajutu. And the result? Just look at this slide. Vibrant, luminous colors and human figures that are depicted with a unique three-dimensionality, giving them a real sense of depth and volume. And the themes for these murals were usually drawn from Hindu mythology, especially from local versions of the Ramayana and Mahabharata. You can see these stunning murals today in places like the Dutch Palace in Kochi and the Krishnapuram Palace in Kayamkulam. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that the mural tradition absolutely did not stop after Ajanta. This quote really summarizes the whole journey perfectly. From the fluid grace of the Chalukyas to the vibrant drama of Kerala, this tradition tells a story of constant evolution and regional genius. And this brings us to a really important question to think about. How does the patronage of a dynasty, whether it's the Chalukyas, the Cholas, or Vijayanagara, directly shape the themes and the style of its art? To test your knowledge on this and to continue your preparation, be sure to visit our website. You'll find us at www.sundaytest.com. Thanks so much for joining us today.